Hi, I'm Teresa Duncan.
And I'm Kevin Henry.
Welcome to Chew on This.
We are excited to bring you our views of current topics in the dental industry and put a little different spin on them, giving you something to chew on.
If you need to jump off, be sure to check the show notes for links as well as how to get in touch with us.
And now, let's give you something to chew on.
And we are back with another edition of Chew on This. K-Dog, what's up?
I am ready to talk all things C related.
Yes, we are doing, but darn it, you brought in the letters. We have C's, and we'll talk about that because we're going to go to Canada and Colorado. Okay,
Indeed.
so we're going to do that. But I was going to say, you just got back from Africa, and I was going to do some drums, but I'm not good with that. So just
it's the circle of life.
Yes. Oh
yes.
gosh.
All
Mufasa.
Albania.
All right. So you just got back from Africa. How was it, my dear?
Africa's fantastic. Great South African Dental Association meeting. Some amazing dental assistants down there. I was lucky enough to speak on the main stage to dentists and team members about the top 10 mistakes that dental practices make. And ironically, Teresa, and I know this is going to stun you, the same mistakes they make in South Africa are the same ones they make in Sioux City or Savannah or Seattle, so.
Just in different languages.
Exactly right.
Right.
Yes. So, I did try to speak in Afrikaans, and that didn't go very well, but I did try. So there you go.
I remember you showing me the text of what you were going to say, and I thought, no, I'm not. Like, I would sound like that if I had a mouthful of toffee. There's no way. But here's the thing. Like, I have heard South Africans speak. Stan Bergman of Shine is South African.
Absolutely.
And when he speaks, his language is, he's got a great accent. But even when I hear Afrikaans being spoken, it's a pretty language.
It is.
But what you showed me on the screen, that did not look like it was going to come out sounding good. So I'm sure
and spoiler alert, it didn't. So there you go. But I tried. It's like whenever I'm over in France and I'm trying to speak French, they just go, bless your heart, in that way. So
you just have to look grumpy and just say, wee wee. Like,
oui.
Just, you bother me. Yeah. American. Just grumble about Americans and they'll think you're French. Like, because that's what they do to us, right? They don't like us there at all. Yeah. Bonjour. Get out of here. Right. So, all right. So you're right. We're going to tackle the C's. We're actually the Corvette. There's a C we're going to jump into.
We're back in the chew on this Corvette. I love it. Here we go.
It sounds like we have an official car. So we're going to jump into the chew on this Corvette, and we're going to go up to Canada. And Canada is a very look at that. Even sound effects. Canada is a very, very big country, as you know. Okay, so I was scrolling down through the story, and as I scroll down, for those of you that are audio only, I will make sure to call these out. But for video, you're going to see that in addition to this case, there's a lot of stuff going on in Canada. So I have to say, what the heck is going on in Canada? Okay, so first of all, this is a story I wanted to bring to our attention. Dr. Rondeau, which I knew the name sounded very familiar because he actually has a big ortho studio or ortho curriculum. So like he did a whole bunch of teaching on orthodontics. So I was like, Rondeau, I know that name. So I guess he's run into some issues. He's been found guilty of misconduct. He's lost his license. His license was revoked last month for having sexual interactions with a female patient. The female patient, Kevin, is suing for $2.15 million on allegations of sexual assault and medical malpractice. But here we go with the first two links of weird stuff going on in Canada. So the first link is London, Ontario dentist license revoked after college determined he sexually abused patients. This might actually be the same one. But former patient testifies doctor told her future husband that she'd regret it if she got her tubes tied. I'm very tempted to click on that link, but I'm not going to.
Oh, come on.
Let's continue here. So apparently this patient claims that she had a brain injury and he knew that she was in pain and still he attempted to access her sexually, which is in quotes. And that is just terrible. So that can constitute sexual abuse under provincial law, alleges that he had sex with her against her will. But here's what's really interesting too. This is not something I expected to read in here. It alleges that Rondeau and his business are liable for burns she suffered during a procedure for which she never provided informed consent. So the informed consent is there or not there, and then she was injured. And then we have other articles here. Summerside doctor reprimanded over unnecessary digital rectum exams. And then there's another complaint against a Cape Breton doctor. So I'm just saying, Kevin, that something's going on in Canada or this newspaper knows what gets people to click.
I got to be honest. I admire this publication right now. I've got envy. I've got click or envy right now.
Yeah. I mean, as an editor of Dr. Bicuspid, this a tactic that Dr. Bicuspid should be using?
Well, if I can work digital rectum exams into an article somehow, but it's impressive. Big kudos right here. Big kudos.
It's almost working. It's really taking everything I can to not click on it because I will get completely sidetracked by
This
this.
is a rabbit hole, is what you found.
Whew. So I'm trying to scroll down to the other piece, and I know I had read this in here. They were doing something, and the staff member actually spilled some acid, something acidic, onto the patient. I'm trying to find this here. And again, another 2 links. Hearing for Cape Breton gynecologist accused of professional misconduct, and then a Toronto dentist had sex with the patient, fathered her child, and gets license revoked. So again, 2 additional stories that are trying to distract us. Okay, so basically he's saying all care was performed by a dental hygienist, a registered dental hygienist. He's got informed consent. He's claiming all of this here. And basically they're going back and forth in court now. But I guess enough evidence was found, Kevin, that he did lose his license. His defense is that it's physically impossible for him to do what was said. So the suit, the defense document, okay, you ready for this? Describes the former dentist as a physically weak octogenarian, and the plaintiff as a physically fit woman who was 20 years his junior. His erectile dysfunction also made it physically impossible for intercourse. Yeah, so now we know a little bit more about Dr. Rondo. Kevin, in order to defend yourself against allegations, would you be putting that out there?
I guess if it's 2.15 million.
That's true.
Yeah, what's the cost barrier? What's that price,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing now because I will click on this because there was something also about a priest doing some crazy things. So I have to get off of that.
What you just showed me is what we've got to start doing on Dr. Bicuspid now. And by the time you see this podcast, maybe, we will be doing it now with those links in there. That's fantastic.
And honestly, you don't even have to stay in the US for these links. Apparently, Canada has got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So really, you could just do a whole Canadian dentist cuckoo page and link it. And is that sort of seen as declaring war on Canada, though?
Well, we don't want to do that by any stretch.
Look, the content is gold, Kevin. You read it.
I'm not. I'm jealous right now. That's fantastic, is what I just saw.
But here's the thing. Again, teachable moment, because I know we kind of went through that, and I don't want anyone to get the impression that we're making light of it. It's just that there was so much happening in that article, and there's a lawsuit, so we don't want to say who's correct and who's not. Obviously, there was enough found to make him lose his license, so I think that's always an interesting thing for us to see as an industry when somebody who has a big name out there teaching. I mean, there's a lot of big doctors out there teaching, and all it takes is really 1 or 2 allegations to cast aspersions on it. But then if something really does happen, like your whole career, you just did all that work for nothing.
And I think, like you said, teaching moment. We've heard so many times about allegations that happen in the dental practice and misconduct and things, and that's why you never leave a patient alone. There's always more than one person in the room. The spilling of the acid and the burns and everything, I wonder about the notation and the documentation and things like that. So,
and we'll link the story. There was something in the story that the plaintiff alleges that the doctor knew that this person was incompetent at their job. And how would they know that other than having testimony from somebody who worked alongside that person, right? So that's another reason why, you don't want to keep people, and not saying they were, but if you do have somebody in there and you continue to employ them and say this person did legitimately, like not even acid, like that's extreme, but like say somebody continually like hurt a patient, like a hygienist, scraping a patient or whatever, you can't continue to employ that hygienist. You got to do something about it, right? But let's go back, because there was one part too that said this patient was known to be flirty with Dr. Rondeau. And this is something that I don't think we talk about enough. And every receptionist, every manager, speaking directly to them, you all know with a male dentist, if the male dentist is a little bit charismatic, attractive or not, there's going to be a female patient or even a male patient who is like, ooh, and they flirt. There's a point where that can get to be a little bit too much. And, sometimes it does make, first of all, I've been in situations where the team has felt uncomfortable by the flirting, especially because in this situation I'm referring to, the dentist was married, but he loved to flirt with this patient. It was uncomfortable. You can't have that kind of workplace environment, right? And then the second thing is sometimes our patients fixate on us and you can't encourage that kind of behavior. You have to be like, if it's overly flirting, there's touching involved, or attempts to date them afterwards, this is really opening up the practice to liability. So flirting, I love to be a flirt, you do too, but there's got to be a point, right? Stop it. So there's got to be a point. Kevin's trying to look outraged here, but there's got to be a point where where you can't let it go too far. There's a professional line, obviously,
Yeah,
that we need to not cross.
there is, and there's a lot of things involved with that, because this is something that not only is this lawsuit impacting the doctor, obviously, and his reputation, but also the practice and everybody that worked there, so there's always those ripple effects, and I don't think we think too often about the ripple effects before it's too late.
Yeah, I agree with that. So it's kind of a bummer story, and, best of luck to both parties. May the truth come out. And, if there's damages that need to be paid, then, so be it. But kind of depressing, though, like Canada, what's going on up there, right? So let's leave Canada for now.
That's their slogan. I don't know if you've seen that. Canada, what's going on up there? That's their new slogan. It's amazing.
Ooh,
when you cross over the Rainbow Bridge there by Niagara Falls, that's what it says. It's amazing.
We are both going to get emails from Uchi. My friend Jason Lechtefeld, our friend Jason, moves up there. We're going to get nasty grams.
This is probably going to get trademarked, or we're going to be like, oh, we missed it. But anyway, so hop in the Corvette with me. Let's go back across the Rainbow Bridge, back into the U.S. here.
All right.
And then come on over to my part of the world. Come on over with me to Colorado.
Happily. What's going on there?
The Mountain Time Zone, which does exist, people, no matter what others tell you. The Mountain Time Zone does exist. Do you mind if I share my screen now?
Please.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. So this is a story that I saw on the news, and I wanted to bring it up to you. And the headline itself, the veterinarian helps to heal dog that was reportedly shot in the face.
Who is this evil person that shot a dog in the face?
I just want to tell you, on behalf of all Coloradans, we do not claim whoever this is. There is no doubt about that. But long story short, you can see the pup. This is the veterinarian who's been helping the pup. And I'm going to let it run for just a minute, because I want to show you the x-rays. But I'm going to tell you what she's saying. Okay. Is that there was a dog that was wandering around, and it was very there you go. Let me pause it right
There's
here.
The x-rays. Oh,
yeah.
No.
So this dog was very scared of people. As we go along, you'll understand why. So
can you make that full screen?
Yeah, let me see if I can. There you go. Yeah, right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so numerous people have been trying to catch this dog because they saw he was injured but didn't know exactly what was wrong. But what was determined is, you see this body that's right here. That's actually a bullet fragment.
Oh, no.
That is on the x-ray. So this dog is wandering around. It has part of a bullet in its jaw, which is fractured, by the way.
Oh, this poor thing must have been in so much pain.
Oh, so much pain. Yeah. So there's a lot going on here. And
you can see the fracture.
Yeah.
You can see the fracture line there.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. So for those of you that are audio only, if you want to, you can visit the podcast page. We'll have that, but also the YouTube channel. It's a Ceph. I mean, it's the head and the neck image. And there, it looks like it's a solid implant, but it's not. It's a bullet fragment right on the lower jaw. And then the lower jaw, you can see the crazy fracture lines right there. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
That is so sad. And how long do you think that he went like that? Does it say?
So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit, because I want to make sure that I get this correct. Is the fact that 2 pieces of a dark gray heavy object from the lower part of his right jaw, and you can see the impact here. The picture.
Yeah.
Poor little guy. And fractured teeth, an infection, and fractured lower jaw. And there was a hole in the dog's tissue, which that's why they think that there was a bullet there. But they say they don't know for sure at the time that we record this. They've sent it off to the lab to see what it really is, if it is a bullet, what's going on. And of course, there's no owner for the dog. I'm going to stop sharing now. There's no owner for the dog. There's no leads on who shot the dog. But it was just one of those things that it's a gut punch, because, you love dogs, I love dogs. And when I saw this on the news and just saw the the little guy in his cage there. It just broke my heart. I'm sure he's going to get adopted. I'm sure he will have a better life. No doubt about that. But yeah, you just wonder what all he had been through before people were finally able to capture him and put him on the path to healing.
Wow. Wow. Well, I am so thankful for that vet to do that. I mean, that's not an easy surgery at all. And it's not a cheap surgery, too. So, I mean, doing it pro bono is really, I mean, these vets do amazing things
They do.
for that. So, when will you be going to adopt the dog?
You know, soon. No. I'll be honest. I would love to have a dog, but we are gone so much that, yeah, we're not pet eligible at the moment, but there'll be a day. But no, certainly wishing this pup all the best. And like you said, kudos to the vet. I think often we in dentistry overlook all the dentistry that is done on the veterinarian side of things. So many times with pets and their needs, and every once in a while, we'll run a story about a lion that had an impacted tooth or something that really is oh my gosh, I didn't think about that animal needing dental care. But so often it's our dogs and our cats and our household pets that need attention to that part of their oral systemic link as well.
I mean, look, you and I are always learning about different parts of dentistry, and we've been in this field for a long time. I mean, go back to our space dentistry episode where we learned about exploding teeth. Could have done without that, but, we are dedicated to learning. I don't know. But you said something earlier, though, that I was puzzled by. You said there is a mountain time no matter what you hear. Is this a controversy?
It's not a controversy, but it's also something that, living in the mountain time zone, I can tell you anytime that I talk to people, not you, of course, but others trying to schedule something, the fact that there's something between Central and Pacific just throws people off completely.
Really? They don't realize?
It really does, seriously. The fact that I will say often to people, no, I'm 2 hours behind you. And they get this puzzled look on their face like, how can this be? What
That's
is this
hilarious.
which you speak? And if you look, the mountain time zone is the least populated of our continental time zones. So.
Well, yeah, and then you have Arizona that just kind of throws everything out of whack.
Yeah, so I'm so tired. One way or the other, pick it. Come on.
I mean, yeah. And so for those of you that aren't aware of that, like Arizona, there are some parts of Arizona that follow daylight savings and some don't. Is that it? Or did they switch?
It's the state. It's the
whole state.
Yeah, the whole state. There's parts that my mother-in-law is on our time zone and part that she's on her granddaughter's time zone in Seattle. It's just, yeah.
I mean, you're right. Pick a lane. What the hell?
Yeah, join us. We need you, Arizona. Come over to us. But
so what's going on in Canada and what's going on in Arizona? Like, what the heck? So I know now we've just lost Arizona.
Arizona, we love you, but pick a lane. As Teresa said. Please.
Arizona, you're too hot. That's all I have to say about that. So, and I know you and the lovely Dana have considered moving to Arizona,
we have thought. There's a lot of baseball that goes on down there, but thank goodness it's indoor quite a bit too.
There's a lot of heat stroke that goes on down there. That's
just throw it out there.
Something else to consider. I know, that's terrible.
And that's their motto. A lot of heat stroke going on here. I mean, again, you're whipping it out today. I like it.
Yeah, that's it. We are known for our alternative slogans that they don't even know about. So, all right. So, Kevin, I am glad that you are back in the States, and I'm sure South Africa was happy to receive you. But it was a long trip. How long? Like 50, 60, 70 hours, it feels like?
Yeah. I think that was just one flight. No, my South Africa to Newark direct flight was 15 and a half hours. So that was a long one, but luckily I had downloaded plenty of things. I finally got to catch up on the new Dune, part 1 and 2. That was an interesting show, but
we'll have to discuss. We are big Dune people here.
Oh, are you? Well, then yes. we will have to discuss that for sure.
Very big Dune people. I read the books years and years ago and don't remember a thing.
Did you see the original though?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Because I just remember going to the theater and walking out going, that was weird. I mean,
I've seen all versions. There's another version that people do not like, that it was a remake. And I actually thought it was fine. But that's the version that we do not discuss. So there's the original, the Voldemort version. We do not name them. And then there's the new versions, which I think they did a good job. But I will say that the lead dude, kind of like my lead dudes to be a little bit more manly, but he was all right.
Mr. Chalamet?
Yeah, he's kind of a little not manly enough for me. I'm more of a Josh Brolin type. Like,
So
give me a little thick boy.
You'd rather have Thanos than Willy Wonka, is what you're telling me.
I think wouldn't anyone.
Well, just throw it out there, Hey.
I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't say that because, Thanos has got that mighty
We just
chin.
lost our whole Timothy Chalamet fan club section, too. Wow, there's like 3 people listening to us at this point. Sad.
Well, now we got to get him back. I mean, that's our task. So, all right, dear listeners, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate that you share your time with us. Next time.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Chew on This. We hope you laughed and learned a little.
Check out the show notes for any links we mentioned, and don't forget to give us a rating on your podcast app. Feel free to drop us a comment on social media or by email if you have any suggestions for future topics.
We'll be back in about 2 weeks. See you then.